Hi everybody, we hope you enjoyed our first vlog. For this week's one, we're going to focus on the terminology surrounding child sex offenders and the issues with the definitions.
This has been a really interesting topic to explore, so we're excited to share our findings with you and see what you think. So the actual definition of a paedophile is a person whose primary or exclusive sexual attraction is towards prepubescent children, the cut-off point of which is 13. The person needs to be at least 16 years old and at least 5 years older than the prepubescent child.
So it's described as paedophilic disorder in the DSM-5, which is the diagnostic manual, and it's defined as having intense and recurring sexual urges that have either been acted upon or caused the person distress. So the various crimes associated with paedophilia and indecent images are defined as:
indecent can include penetrative or non-penetrative sexual activity.
And making indecent images is the opening, accessing, downloading and storing of online content.
So sharing indecent images includes sending on an email, offering on a file sharing platform, possessing with a view to distribute, and uploading onto a site that other people have access to.
This crime is more common than people may think, and every year in the UK 5,400 men are arrested for sexual images. So we feel like there's quite a few issues with the definition.
The term paedophile is quite broad and can range from anyone who has a primary sexual attraction to children but has never offended, to someone who regularly sexually abuses children.
And the current definition also means that not all child sexual abusers are technically paedophiles. So if the child isn't their primary or exclusive sexual attraction, then according to the definition, they're not technically a paedophile, even if they sexually abuse the child.
It's also incorrectly used a lot in the media and everyday life, and this could be a bit of a problem because it's a very negative term and it could prevent non-offending paedophiles from seeking help that will help them stop offending.
And in terms of the definitions of the online offences, the term making surprised us. If we heard someone had been making indecent images, we would presume that they had been the ones orchestrating the abuse, whereas the making of images is actually including just opening them.
So we wanted to see how these definitions match with the public definitions. So we asked a group of people the question, what is a paedophile?
So the first response was someone who finds children sexually attractive and acts on it.
Another was, it's a person, usually male, who's sexually attracted to children.
Or someone who is sexually attracted to a minor, which is anyone under the age of 18, and pursues it online or in real life.
These definitions aren't far from the truth, but they do show a discrepancy between the actual definitions and what people think.
A big discrepancy seems to be that the public generally feel that paedophiles are offenders, whereas what they don't realise is there's non-offending paedophiles who are attracted to children, but they don't want to act on it.
We wanted to see what the general consensus of paedophilia was in the media, so we looked at newspaper articles and online blogs. We thought these would portray paedophiles as monsters and see them in a really negative light, but actually we found that most of them were just informational, and a lot of them actually stated that paedophiles need help.
So one of the articles included a blog post, and this said, "He is a paedophile, but that does not make him a child molester." This blog also talked about
the sloppy use of the word by the public, police and the media,
and how many people are incorrectly labelled as paedophiles according to the current definition. So for example, if someone is more sexually attracted to adults than children, then they're not a paedophile.
It also discussed how many paedophiles are just reenacting their own history and have actually been victims of child sexual abuse themselves.
And the blog also talked about the fact that being a paedophile for some people is an involuntary condition, but being a child abuser is a deliberate choice.
The BBC had an article titled "The Young Paedophiles Who Say That They Don't Abuse Children." And this talked about case studies of individuals who were trying to seek help for their paedophilia and explained how they refer to themselves as MAPs, which stands for Minor Attracted Person.
And the Telegraph had an article that was titled "Paedophiles, we need to support the good ones." And again, this article talked about the different kind of supports that we could put in and was just generally a more understanding approach.
The Guardian also had an article titled "To Stop Paedophiles, We Need to Help Them, but no one wants to hear that." And this explored the idea that there's not enough resources in this area and that the most effective way to prevent sexual harm towards children is to provide help to paedophiles.
And whilst this article was very informative, it did spark a lot of debate. And some of the comments that were left on the article were:
"You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink."
"Time to stop squandering on these animals. The death penalty for more serious offences would free up a lot of cash to protect and support potential victims."
"Whoever touches a child like a spouse deserves the worst torture and death imaginable by the most demented and sickest human mind." Research into the disorder has been done to try and inform the public a bit more about the disorder. Dr. James Cantor found:
He describes paedophile as a sexual orientation.
He states that MRI scans have shown that their brains are wired differently. So in most people, seeing a child triggers a nurturing instinct, but in paedophiles, it triggers the sexual instinct instead.
And also, paedophiles tend to say that I was born with it and it's in my nature.
So doing this research has left us with a lot of questions of what can be done to improve public knowledge of paedophilia and to ultimately reduce offending.
We believe that the definitions are confusing and may lead to misunderstanding. But even when the media does state that we should work with the paedophiles to reduce child sexual abuse, a lot of the public tend to have brutal punishment in their mind as the best way to deal with paedophilia.
So we hope you found this vlog interesting. We've done this research as part of our work for Reshape, which is a charity that works towards no more victims.
If you would like to volunteer for the charity, either in interventions or doing things similar to what we've done today, or if you would just like to donate, we'll leave links at the end of this video.